right. I think we solved the issue. I don't know what happened. Everything just collapsed on me, but that is okay. Hey, OC's gonna be popping in here. I got totally rugged. OC's popping in, guys. Let's talk about the markets today. We got some news to go through. We've got some data coming in on ADP jobs, and hopefully everyone comes back to us. That would be awesome. We'd love to see you guys out here. But right now, OC, how you doing, man? How you doing?
Not sure what's going on. Not sure. Robot talk is what I heard from Alexander G. What is that shit happening? I don't know what's going on, guys. We're gonna be back. We're gonna reset everything. We're gonna use this. We're gonna use another stream. 5 minutes. We'll be back. 5 minutes. We'll be back. Oh, it's good now.
Counting.
Oh wait, they said it's good now. They said it's good now. Maybe the issue was solved. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's not the internet on my end. That's Google, man. Google's playing some games with us. I need to go check and make sure we weren't demonetized. Yeah, that was definitely some weird stuff going on. So we're working. Okay. What the F was that? I don't know, Buck. I can't see on your end, but right now we are live evidently and doing okay. All right, let's go ahead and get into the news, man. That's what we need to do. People need to know what the hell is going on with everything today. We did get ADP job data that came in. That's what I want to talk about today. It's crushing some numbers today. But overall, what I was showing over here, actually, can we do this? Can we start this off right, guys? You know what time it is. Take a seat. Classes in session. All right, and it still works. We did a scene change, and audio is still good. All right, let's go talk about what we're seeing on the news. Shout out to everybody in the chat that came back. I appreciate you guys all being here. Who do we have here? We got Alexandra G, of course. She's like, it's horrible audio. Wait, it's good audio. I'm going to switch to another channel. No, she would never do that to me. I love you, lady. Buck is in here. Pew Pew Cruise. Harp joining us here. Username BC Port Corp. DDT said hashtag rugged, hashtag lurking. We appreciate you, man. Hey, you know what? We got 10 people in here right now. Who cares? Who cares? We're here to educate, not to build fame. If I become the least known YouTuber in the space with the most profitable viewers, I'll be a happy man. So. Got my coffee, got my co-host. Everything else can eat that thing. All right, guys, let's go talk about the news and let's get in on that. Break all this down for you, what I was talking about in the intro. Let's go. All right, guys, taking a look at the metrics today on Into the Cryptoverse. Current crypto market cap right now is at $3.309 trillion. The trend on that is at $4 trillion. Undervaluation is about 17.3% undervalued. There we go. Found you. Crypto Coin Mindset, man. It was horrible. We were all over the place today. I'll have to go in and delete that other video, but yeah, we got a rough start off today, but we're here. Looking at the current Bitcoin risk levels, guys, we're at 54.6%. And then looking at the Bitcoin dominance without stables, we're at 69.9%. With stables, we're at 64.65. Jumping over into Bitcoin liquidations. Past 24 hours, 94,162 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations came in at 236.6 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on Bybit. It was Bitcoin for 2.6 million. No big deal. Another 2 million gone on a Bitcoin trade. Who are these guys? I want to know. I want to know who just has $2 million to lose on a trade and be like, well, better luck next time. Not sure. Good morning, Daniel Barnes. I see you there, bro. Thanks for coming back and joining us. Again, apologize about all the issues. You want to go live in the morning, and that's what happens. Everything that can go wrong when you're live will go wrong when you're live. Looking at the daily here on the crypto bubbles, guys, we do have a couple of things that are red in the market, but overall in the last hour are seeing a turnaround and a bounce back up to the. Let's go down and take a look at what we're seeing on the lower time frames here. Bitcoin just broke 108, and as you saw on the thumbnail, both of them, because we had two startups today. We were talking about a possible new all-time high incoming. Guys, Crypto Face is talking about that right now. I'm looking at the metrics right now. Things are looking pretty strong. It's not that far off. We could see a new all-time high. So if you guys are running shorts today, be very careful. All right. 108 on Bitcoin, up 0.7%. Ethereum up a mere 0.1% at $2,456. XRP down about a 0.5% after a big rally off of that ETF news. What else we got here? We got Tron up 1.2%. Any big movers? Hyperliquid's down 1.6. Squeeze up 2.8. I'm not seeing any huge blow off movers here, but that top 20 spot is being held by Litecoin HBAR down to number 21. Shiba Inu up 1.5%. Nothing major here today. Kind of flat markets, honestly. Let's go over and take a look at what Fear and Greed Index. We're sitting at 63 currently in greed right now. I want to talk about the numbers on the ADP before we talk about this Kabisi letter report. But right now, you can see here on the Dow Jones, we are sitting up about down about 0.3%. S&P 500 is sitting pretty flat, 0.08%, and the Nasdaq up about just under 0.5%. Russell 2K pretty flat too, and the VIX hitting 17. That still means very stagnant growth, very stagnant volatility. Not a good trade environment, but overall, not going to get you crazy wicks to swap you out either. We like to see that around 20 for a good trade environment. Looking at the Europe markets here, guys, mixed markets last night across the board. Some red, some green. Asian markets, same thing. Some red, some green. Like we're seeing today on the crypto space, right? Oil is at 65.57, up just slightly to 0.2, and natural gas up about 1.84%. We are seeing a climb up there. And gold doing a little pullback this morning. It was green early in the morning. It hit up in that $3,350 range, and then a little 0.1% pullback, starting to go flat. We'll see it turn around, I think. Silver, copper, platinum, and palladium all to the upside. Palladium up 3.96% today, guys. So looking pretty good there. We were just talking about that a couple of days on the show, a couple of days ago. Shout out to CJ Taylor. That's my brother Clyde over in Florida. Appreciate you being here, bro. Let's talk about this economic data. Because holy cannoli was this bad. Holy balls. There you go, Alexander G. A holy balls moment. ADP employment, guys, previously was at 37K. Okay. We got a revision down to 29,000, meaning way less than what they were expecting on ADP. So if you guys don't know what ADP is, it's private sector jobs, okay? This is your private sector industry, private sector hire, so on and so forth. So they had a revision from 37K down to 29K, first of all. Consensus and forecast was that it would be 90,000 to 95,000 jobs added in the private sector. No, they lost 33,000 jobs for the month of June. ADP employment change, one of the worst we've seen in a while. Private businesses in the U.S. shed 33,000 jobs in June 2025. It's the first decline since March 2023, compared to that downwardly revised 29,000 in May and well below the forecast of the gains of 95,000. Service producing sector lost 66,000 jobs, guys. Due to professional and business services, down 56, education and health, down 52, financial activities, down 14. On the other hand, they did add leisure and hospitality, trade, transportation, and information. So the goods producing sector added 32,000 jobs. 15 of that was in manufacturing, 9K in construction, and then 8K in natural resources and mining. But the annual pay growth for job stayers edged down to 4.4% in June from 4.5% in May. Pay growth for job changers was 6.8%. Though layoffs continue to be rare, a hesitancy to hire and a reluctance to replace those that do leave the job led job losses last month. So it's not so much that these jobs just aren't being created. They're just not rehiring people that are leaving, and that's what's causing that big drop. But there's not a lot of people leaving either. I got a whole article on this. Private sector jobs lost 33,000 jobs in June, badly missing the expectation for a 100,000 job increase. Private payrolls lost 33,000 jobs. Dow Jones had a forecast for an increase of 100,000. You were only off about 133,000 there, Dow Jones. Though layoffs continue to be rare, hesitancy and a reluctance to replace departing workers led to job losses, according to Neela Richardson, ADP's chief economist. To be sure, the ADP report has a spotty track record on predicting subsequent government jobs reports, which investors tend to weigh more heavily. We will see those that government job report coming soon. So this week, the government's non-farm payrolls report will be out Thursday. This is tomorrow. The big one I said we needed to watch this week, with economists expecting a healthy 110,000 increase for June per Dow Jones estimates. We just seen how accurate those can be. And economists are expecting the unemployment rate to tick 0.1% higher to 4.3. So we are seeing a weakening in the job market. What does that mean for rate cuts? That means possibly coming soon. That's what that means. Or it means Jerome Powell still needs more data on inflation. So let's go see what it says here. Service roles were hit the hardest. We knew about that. Annualized income growth decreased modestly from May for both job stayers and job hoppers. The rate of pay increase for those staying on their jobs ticked down 4.4% to 4.4% from 4.5%, while those getting new roles slid from 6.8 to 6.8 from 7%. So even job hoppers looking for better paying jobs, not seeing as much money coming in. So, X marks the spot. Kabisi letter had a little thing about this too. The number of people voluntarily leaving their jobs dropped by 151,000 in May to 704,000, the lowest level we've seen since November 2020. This marks the second largest monthly decline since 2020. As a result, job leavers as a percentage of total employment fell 2% points to 9.8, the lowest since May 2021. Over the last 6 months, this percentage is down about 4 points. In the past, such a rapid decline has rarely occurred outside of recessions. In other words, Americans are growing more cautious about changing jobs, and hiring is slowing down amid economic uncertainty. The job market's deteriorating, guys. And that could mean that we see a change to this. Watch your eyes. Don't want to blind everyone. To this, which is the predicted rate cuts. Right now, we're looking at a 75% chance of no rate cut for July. Look at September now. It's at 93.6% chance of easing. We've even got a 23% chance of a 50 basis point cut coming in October now. Of course, October, we're looking at a 98.1. I believe that we're definitely will see one by October. September leaning more and more to at least a 25% base point cut. And that's more likely now with the new data that we just got on this beautiful ADP employment change. So guys, tomorrow, watching non-farm payrolls, previously we're at 139,000. Consensus and forecast is that we will be at 100 to 110,000, losing 29,000 jobs for non-farm payrolls, and then unemployment rate moving from 4.2 ticking up to 4.3. If this job numbers come in bad tomorrow, very likely that we will see an increase of likelihood of rate cuts coming very soon from the Fed Reserve. So, and Wall Street starting to get worried about this frothy stock market amid all of this economic uncertainty, guys. S&P ending the first half of the year at a record high is cause for celebration, but some Wall Street pros are worried that investors may be getting too excited. The Barclays Equity Euphoria Indicator, a proxy of excessive optimism, is back to levels comparable to earlier peaks this year and not far from the meme stock frenzy and the dot-com era episode. So, looking at this data as it's, I mean, look how high this bad boy is. These periods mentioned by Pascal evoke a handful of stocks that became enduring examples of unbridled expectations, like, hey, GameStop in 2021. However, Piper Sandler, different Piper, head of global policy and asset allocation, said in a note to clients that the current environment is seeing much broader participation than just a few names favored by retail investors. It's overall a tide, right, on the stock market. So today's misvaluations are broad-based across the S&P, and thereby we do not owe to tech, the Magnificent Seven, etc. Of course, an old investment adage says that the valuation is not a timing tool. After all, the meme stock mania in 2021 burned some well-established hedge managers who thought it's surely going down, and guess what? It didn't. They got absolutely burnt. So there you go. OC, we do have this job data today. Came out pretty weak. I'm starting to lean that we might see a rate cut in September now. I'm moving that direction. New information came in. Intelligence cycle, analytical cycle, new information has come in. We're now going to take that info and move that into the world of the macro side here. We're going to use that cycle and put in. I got to take new information, analyze, and make a new assessment. Very possible September rate cut. Your thoughts on this?
Well, we have seen this coming from a long time, right? I mean, it's not that we knew that we're going to have a rate cut or the possibilities that they're going to be skyrocketing that much. Nonetheless, I mean, we were talking about the game of power. First, talking about the game of power between Powell and Donald Trump, and then the cornering of the markets, right? And the results of the job numbers and the data that was pointing at a possible or plausible rate cuts, right? So I think this is this is it. We're gonna be maybe having one of those rates, and if not in this upcoming month, the next one might be the one that we have it again. What is the rate cut speculation rate that we're gonna be having? 1 full point.
So that speculation was that it would start in October. We wouldn't get a rate cut until October, and then it would be 1 full basis point over those next 4. So it would be 25 basis point in October, 25 basis point in December, 25 basis point in January, and 25 basis points in March. There's no rate FOMC meetings in November or in February. So yeah, that's what it is now. One basis point by March 2026 is what they're talking about. So be interesting to see.
I mean,
quantitative easing would be nice.
Absolutely. Yeah, so nothing too crazy. Same as we were expecting. This is, I think, Powell not only responding to his job, but also to the to being cold-headed against what is coming out, and also not letting himself fall into the politic pressure, right? Because at the end of it all, other than a mathematician, he's also, well, I'm not sure if he's a mathematician, a financeman. He is also a politician, right? Depending on how things are going, he's going to keep or lose his post. And I think he's doing a great job. I think he's not falling into the game that he's been prone to. And well, then we're seeing this easing into 1 full point over time. So I think that's cool. That's all right. That's what we were supposed to be expecting out of somebody doing this job, right? And that's perfect. I mean, I don't see such a big problem coming into this, other than just having maybe a turnaround on numbers caused by the tariff.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and I think that's what the situation will be based on. How does this inflation likelihood look? Okay, where are we with job numbers? We need to make a decision here. So, on the video this morning, by the way, I see BC there. He said, "Don't forget to mention the giveaway." They're doing a giveaway on July 4th. And all you have to do is go watch BC's video this morning. It's BC Port Corp. Okay. It says comment Bitcoin is freedom on my video from this morning. $50 USDT giveaway. Can we get a link for that in the chat from somebody to that video? Go into this video, comment Bitcoin is freedom, and then you will be entered to win 50 USDT, on July 4th from BC Port Corp and the Piper Academy Network. So go check it out, guys. Appreciate that. If somebody's got that link in the chat for me, you would be awesome. It's one of you beautiful people out there. We'll get their username, exactly what BC Port Corp said. BC said, "I hate all merch ideas." No, I want a Mexican Superman hoodie. That's what I want. We got to have that and a Piper Academy ball cap, so I can cover those days that I don't shave my head. Yes, that's what we need.
No, but that cap. I mean, I want a Piper Academy cap. That'll be fantastic.
Would you wear it? Would it need to be made out of tinfoil? That is the other question. So
I can always put it on top, man. That's not such a problem. Look at that, perfect fit. It will also be.
Shout out to Dutchy. I see you, Dutchy. Yeah. Hey, tinfoil Piper Academy hats. We'll make them ourselves. They'll be very cheap. No, guys. Another thing that I want to do. I do want to talk about over here is looking at these job cuts that we just talked about private sector, but this came in this morning. Shout out to Investing Bros. Just in, Microsoft to cut 9,000 workers in the second wave of major layoffs. So even Microsoft just wiping out job numbers. And then we're also going to talk about this in a little bit. The U.S. M2 money supply hits a new all-time high of $21.94 trillion. This coming on the back of an approved mega bill that doesn't have enough votes. So this is all of the drama of Elon Musk and Trump right now, the American Party. I don't know. Have you heard about the American Party, OC? We talked about this yesterday.
Yes,
I want to know from people in the chat. I want to know from people in the chat, if you were able to, vote in the U.S., if you're eligible, would you vote for a third party called the American Party, established by Elon Musk? Would you vote for that party in the next election? Let me know. Put a 1 in the chat if you would. Put a 2 in the chat if you would not. Put a 3 in the chat if you would, but it depends on who it is, not just because it's a different party. I'm curious. There's a difference there. So much fiscal responsibility. Their debt ceiling is going to be to the moon. Lee, you are so accurate on that statement. Fiscal irresponsible. So much for fiscal responsibility, he said. It's fiscal irresponsibly making this thing. It's going to be like $5 trillion, man. It's $5 trillion increase. It's stupid. It's stupid. BC port courts should send rates to 0 for 10 years like Japan. We were damn near there, BC. Damn near there. 3, Crypto Coin Mindset said 3. They are already multiple parties that don't get the screen time. Yeah, but do they have the platform like X and the voice like Elon Musk to garner attention? That's the big question, man. All right, let's go take a look at Bitcoin's chart, OC. What do you got on there today? What's Bitcoin looking like? I'm thinking we could be setting up for another rally run for higher highs, OC. What do you got?
Let's take a look at here. So we have OC Inception in the chat. Nonetheless, let's keep it up on what we were talking about yesterday on the Piper Academy show. I was pointing out that this area where we have a lot of confluence, right? We have our trusty handmade support area here. We have our money flow. We have an area of support. We also were breaking the support line. And we all remember that we have an order block or some other stuff. I don't quite remember what was there, but we placed a little arrow in there on the 4 hours, right? And then we went over it once again on the last show, yesterday's last show, right here. And that was at the beginning. Here it is. And we talked about compression right down here on our oscillator, right? So at the same zone, having some compression. What was the area of entry as we were breaking through that cloud, or having, then this is the 1 hour, just so you guys know, 1 hour versus the 4 hour, right? So we're doing multi-time frame analysis in here, right? So let's go back and see now the actual chart. So this is it. We are on the 1 hour where we jumped in. It is right at the breakout of the cloud. Let me zoom in here. Let's bring chunky candles in the house. There we go. So at the breakout of the cloud right here at the candle closure, basically jumping in, and also what happened in one candle after the flip of the ribbon. Why? Just so we have that confirmation. Let's leave this, let's wait for it. There we go. Trading view to stop thinking one candle after. There it is. I was able to jump in at the center of the candle. That's because of the 1 hour. 1 hour. Yeah, absolutely. Boom shakalaka. Absolutely. So that one played out fantastically. Look at that. Exactly the area that we were talking about. I mean, that was a pretty good area. Remember yesterday we were talking about the consequences and the possibility to go even lower. I'm not going to cut that out, guys. I'm not going to change what I think. And this is because we're still on a range, right? Let's change a little bit the perspective and let's go to another chart in here. Remember right here, we were expecting this area to be hit, and this area that we will be ranging, right? Based on this. So far, so good. If we start breaking through 108, I think we're going to have the next rally. All right. So remember, we are grabbing the previews. Let me show you here the previews. Come on, please don't be that far away. And here it is. All right. The previews drop on the market, right? We remember we start analyzing as we start losing this area in the future, right? So all of this all the way to the top. We copy these candles, and just like they are without changing much or basically anything, we overlay them, right? We had an early breakout. Nonetheless, we have the same characteristic, same ranges, same topping out zones, same one-to-one tops, right? And then same lower moving downwards range that we have, right? Remember, this is the range going low. This is the same range going low. It's almost one-to-one. It's just so amazing how close they are one to another. Therefore, we're expecting for this little range to break to the upside if we are able, and this is only if we are able to break through that zero line. Let me take you one more step back, all right? We are into a range. That's it. This is a big range. This is it, all right? In fact, if we go to the next chart, I think we're going to have it. There it is, right? This is a big range. This could also be looking like, which I don't think anymore, could be looking like a pennant, right? Where we have broken the pennant. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, and then off we go, all right? But the retest, this one could even go lower and could still be in the same ballpark, right?
Emotional damage.
Yes. So once again, not because so far we've been playing out one-to-one and everything is pointing at a possible breakout of Bitcoin. The truth of the matter is that we're still below the zero line. We're still red on lines, and we haven't broke meaningful highs. All right. Do we have another V-shaped recovery? Absolutely. Itty bitty, tiny bit V-shaped recovery. Nothing that really would pump my emotions, right? I mean, we did a long on this. That's fantastic. More money to our backs, right? But still, we are in the micro inner range, right? So as long as I don't see this range breaking to the downside or to the upside, I'm not gonna be jumping out of emotion, right? So either to short it or to long it. Nonetheless, just to wrap it up, if I start saying breaking through on the 4 hours of my zero line right here on the oscillator, I'll be more than happy, because remember, my next target, plan A, is a continuation to 110, even 112. All right, so that will be basically breaking the previous highs before coming back down strongly. And what do I mean with strongly? Something like, oh, come on. That was so bad, like this. All right, so going as high to go to getting here, right? So then we can come back down here, have a big support, and then we go to create or to consolidate a high along in the tops. So be careful out there. Passing it over to you, my friend. Out there. Passing it over to you, my friend. Audio? And you are muted. No? Maybe it's on my end.
Nope, it's not you. It's me. Here, I
Oh,
just
there
went
we
to
go.
my AirPod. There we go. I'm on my AirPod now, I guess. I don't know what's going on with my audio today. It keeps pausing me. So, anyway, what I'm watching on the charts, man, really has to do. I had a phone call. I think it tried to like connect to my phone. I don't know what's going on, man. Yeah. Thank you, Apple. Thank you for messing up my audio today. Anyway, what I'm watching here on the chart really is this 786 line that really is just massive resistance for us right now. Sitting at 107,991. It's that $108,000 range. Psychological also right there, that white line you see. What is that? Let's go over and see. It's the value area high of this fixed range volume profile. So I'm watching that closely right now for the resistance level. But I think if we can get up there, OC, and we can get a break above that 108, line and show support there, we could be looking at a higher level coming in. Of course, our all-time high right now, for those that don't know, is currently sitting at $112,000 on the dot. It's 112,000,000. So $112,000 would be what we would have to break in order to do that all-time high. Of course, if you jump over here, take a look. There was a thing that I was looking at here. Standard Charter, they're expecting Bitcoin to hit new high of $135,000 in Q3. The Bitcoin halving cycle is unlikely to hurt the Bitcoin price in the second half of 2025 due to strong ETF and corporate buying. Standard Charter is forecasting their global bank Standard Charter bullish on Bitcoin, expects Bitcoin to print new highs of $135,000 by the end of Q3. That would be by September. So you got October, November, December for the fourth quarter. So by the end of September, they're expecting it to be 135 and breaking 200,000. Shout out to LBC. That's his price call for 202,000, I think it was, is what he said on the Bitcoin price prediction video. So looking at that $200,000 range by the end of the year is what Standard Charter is saying, and Lunar Beach's crypto. The bank's digital asset of research said, thanks to an increase in investor flows, we believe Bitcoin has moved beyond the previous dynamic whereby prices fell 18 months after the halving cycle, adding that the common halving trend would have led to price declines in September, October previously. Now they think it's going to be extended out. Bitcoin halving cycles, are they dead? In the new analysis, Standard Charter's Kendrick focused on the potential impacts of the Bitcoin halving cycle, a price pattern associated with Bitcoin halving events, which occurs every 4 years. So they're actually not just calling for a $200,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. They're also talking about an extended cycle going on. And what would that mean going into 2026? They did not really go into in here, but it would be interesting to know your thoughts on this, OC. Because right now, looking at an extended cycle, I believe, is right in line with what you talked about before. So somewhere amidst all of this group of people in the Piper Academy network, there's some things coming up here that OC's prediction of an extended cycle, Lunar Beach's prediction of a $202,000 Bitcoin. Your thoughts on that extended cycle? Let's hear it.
Well, I think this was kind of like, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised that there is nothing else being called out there, because for me, it's kind of like something that was almost like intrinsic in at this point, because we know that the cycle is meant to be broken, right? Broken relations in here, and that is because the more that we have, right, we can see the curve going high and thinner until we get a flat line, right? So I think we are right now on the 3x. That was the last cycle, right? So what can we be expecting right now? 2x, 1x, right? So then that's talking about percentages, not about money quantities. So, I mean, I think it's just amazing to have different opinions all mashing up together. I think it was a fantastic idea and fantastic video that we did that earlier, because we came all together. Everybody thought differently. And by the way, where can I upload you a book that talks about big numbers? Those numbers, and this is a theoretical mathematical theory, it is that when we get together and we are influenced, we all miss the target by a lot, like big time. But when everybody thinks by themselves collectively, right, and then collectively join the data once it's already done, we nailed it. So I think that was an amazing probabilities game that we created on that video. And well, then the only thing I can still say, boom shakalaka, LBC, and let's go 500K. I don't think that we're gonna get
pump
there.
those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Absolutely, I still have hope over that 500K. But yeah, absolutely. Going on what we talked about on the Piper Academy, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm looking here at the liquidation heat map, just getting up into that 112 range. I want to get up there. Where's it at? 112. So on the way to a 112 range. Let's see here. So that's 110. That goes up to about 111. So if we go up and we break 112, I need to put this on 3-month, I believe. Let's put this on a 3-month and take a look at this. I think it's something like $70 billion, dude, is what how much would get liquidated up there in that range. It's if it ever loads. If it ever loads for me here on Coin Inc. Appreciate you, Coin Inc., for taking so long. My bad for switching from a 1-month to a 3-month. But yeah, I think I want to say it's over $50 billion that would get liquidated at that level when I looked at it last time. So it's not loading for me, but whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, pretty hefty number there of liquidations that would occur. But there was an article, Bitcoin realized profits here. I want to talk about this. Bitcoin profit taking makes $140,000 the key Bitcoin price point. So this is just based on percentages of growth of how many people are in profit, OC. So looking at this, it said Bitcoin realized profits for long-term holders remains comparatively low during 2024. Research calculates that match these levels, Bitcoin needs to reach about $140,000 to go to where we typically will sit up at. So new research from on-chain analytics platform CryptoQuant says that the $140,000 mark is a key price for Bitcoin's long-term holders. Bitcoin has witnessed an uptick in profit taking in recent weeks as the price hits all-time highs, but it struggles to maintain them. In particular, long-time holder investors, entities hodling Bitcoin and not selling for at least 6 months, that's what makes it LTH, have contributed to the lion's share of selling pressure. So wells are selling on you guys every time it hits up there. Comparing current realized profits to earlier bull markets peaks shows that long-term holders are not as deep in the black as before. To do this, CryptoQuant leveraged the market value to realized value, the MVRV metric, which compares the value of coins in circulation to the price at which they last moved. The average realized profit based on the MVRV ratio currently stands at about 220%. That's it. We typically, at the tops of markets, hit 300 to 350%. That may seem high, but it's not as high as this, right? 300 to 350. The aggregate cost basis, known as realized price for long-term holders, is about $33,800. That's their average price of cost of their Bitcoin. Concluding, Dark Frost argued that the price at which long-term holders' unrealized profits will match the 2024 levels is a form of market magnet. To return to these profit levels, Bitcoin would need to reach approximately $140,000, a price level that many are calling for. And you can see here, this is the MVRV long-term holders realized profit list. You can see here the peak back in 2018. They were hitting up around that 200, looks about 300,000 percent there, the 300%, I should say. Look here, back in this peak that we had, mind you, keep in mind, look at this. This is the first bounce in 2021. That's the second one. A lot of people say this is just an over-exaggerated dead cat bounce. Look at that level there. It was pretty high. We're not even close to it right now for the profit margin of where these whales typically sell. So meanwhile, market participants remain confident that the market can absorb selling pressure in what has become a new Bitcoin price consolidation phase. Hashtag $107,000 Bitcoin stablecoin. The next technical step is the anticipated breakout retest, according to Rect Capital. And he's actually saying that right now we're in a retest and bounce phase. $140,000 Bitcoin is where these guys typically will be taking their profit, OC. And that would be a very interesting thing to see, in my opinion. That would more than crush my prediction of the 117,833, which would be the golden pocket top, based off of trend-based fibs. You are saying that $140,000 mark is not going to get the selling pressure from the wells, and we're just going to continue on to 500K, OC? Can you clarify that for me? I mean, I don't want to say that my co-host is a crazy Mexican, but I'm just saying.
All right. Remember that I talked about an extended cycle, so I still have a chance. In fact, I send you something that you took to my attention early throughout a couple of years ago, right? I sent it to you right now over Discord, if you can pull it up. And right here, we can see that we could be into a smaller cycle peaking at 2026, right? This is just a roughly estimate, right? So this is not something that we're going to be following like the Caprioli that everybody followed, right? Not Caprioli, sorry. What was it? Stock to flow that everybody followed and then flopped, but this is just a possibility, right? So what I'm thinking is that when we look back in time, so we're gonna have our peak in 2026, 2025, 2027, which we can keep rolling on to 250, 250, 255. This is what I'm estimating by the end of the year or by the next end of the year, and then we're gonna have a big retracement. That big retracement is not going to be a 50%. That's going to be somewhere like a 25%, 30%. What? Luna Bitches Crypto. It's, yeah. Well, that could be, man. That could be. Divide that by 20. Let me do that. Divide that by 20, and you get amount of dollars. That's 500, half a million divided by 20. That is 25K, man. That we have. That's too far. That's too far. But yeah, could have
bridge too far. Bridge too far. We hit 25. We hit 25K. I'm going crazy on the markets, man. I'm going crazy on the markets. That's for damn sure. I need to make a lot more money off of Bitcoin so I can buy more of these. Okay. That's
wow.
Just saying. Just saying.
Oh my God, man. We just got restricted 9 mil short here in long rifle 22. It's the top, absolutely top that you can get now. It's freaking crazy.
This bullet weighs 1 pound, dude. This is a 1 pound round. It's crazy. Crazy.
It is crazy. All right, but wrapping it up, I think we're gonna the next bear market after December, after 2026 December or 2027 December, we're gonna have a 20%, 25% retracement, which is gonna be one of the shortest bear markets, and then we're gonna be shooting to 500K. That is the long cycle, extended cycle that I'm expecting. So I don't know. There's my own life jacket, throwing it from myself to myself, right? To me to myself. We'll see how that plays out. That's my way out.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
All right, let's talk about M2 money supply, OC. M2 money supply, a lot of people using this as the basis also of why we're going to see much higher. M2 money supply has hit a record of $21.9 trillion in May 2025. And of course, you know that chart that where Bitcoin follows on a 108-day delay. I think that there's one little problem here, and Kyle Dupes brought it up and nailed it. I actually was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. He put out a really good explanation of it. Wait, liquidity up or down? Okay, so the Fed net liquidity dropped to 6.2 from 6.2 trillion to 5.84 trillion. So that's the Fed net liquidity. But M2 money supply hit a record high of 21.94 trillion. So basically, money is out there. It's just not flowing into risk assets yet. Crypto needs more than vibes to pump. I want to talk about that because that's an interesting take from Kyle. Yeah, we might see this money supply pumping up, but the Fed net liquidity, money flowing in, and that's going into risk assets in the U.S. economy, we're not seeing that happen right now. And which is why I think a lot of what we're seeing focused on for which AKA dominance tells us this is Bitcoin, not the altcoins, right? What happens when this M2 money supply does start to move into the risk markets and sees that, hey, there's money to be made over there still on the stock market and on the crypto? If there's a chance of your $500,000 Bitcoin coming into play, OC, I think it's that all-time high M2 money supply actually being redirected from people into risk assets because things start to smooth out and show some very smooth waters, no waves. No offense, LBC. No waves, just smooth water ahead, smooth sailing from here, right? That would be interesting to see. But I do think that right now, that Fed net liquidity dropping that way is showing some barriers to that $500,000 Bitcoin. I just wanted to bring that up. You can talk to me more about it. Are you looking for your tinfoil hat?
I'm looking for
Where's the
thank you.
Get your tinfoil hat. Thanks, MJ. We appreciate you handing OC his hat. All right, OC. You got about a solid 5 minutes here that you can talk about this $500,000 conspiracy, and then also maybe take a look at an altcoin. What do you got for me, man?
I'm gonna push it like really quickly, right? When we're talking about 500K Bitcoin, we also can be looking around what's going on the micro markets, right? It's not just the money outflow or inflow into Bitcoin, which wouldn't be that surprising. So far, we're just getting to Meta's size of market cap and look at the price action, or sorry, look at the price value versus US. What happens if we start having drop of value on the US? Let's just think for a second that remember yesterday that we were talking about tender or currency, right? That what is a like gold taking value right now and being
legal
a
tenders.
what was legal tenders? Exactly. Thank you for that. Legal tenders. What if for some reason we start making a new model where the US dollar, as we know, instead of just being fiat, it starts shifting from what is it right now, which is trust on the markets, plus a CBDC mixed with gold, if that makes sense, right? So, hey, nice. So other than that, that would maybe, you know, like we have in Mexico, we have the peso far back in the time, and then when we have a huge financial crisis, we created the new peso, which is the one that we're looking right now. We lost 2 zeros out of our coin, right? What if for some reason the way to refinance the debt will be grabbing back gold reserve, right, and mixing them with trust in the market and create a new dollar, if that makes sense? That way, the old dollar will start losing some value, and we could get very quickly to that 500K while we migrate back into the new dollar, just like, for example, Argentina had, or once again, Mexico had. For example, we had 1 peso equivalent to 100 pesos, right? They both are the same. We're just cutting out a couple of zeros out of the equation. So
you're saying that digital dollars under the Genius Act for stable coins is how they're going to do that new dollar on the digital dollar? Is that what you're saying, OC? Are you telling me that Circle's going to pump even higher? That's what I heard. I heard Circle's going to pump even more.
All right. So everything is kind of like leaning that way. That is the first stretch. I don't want to completely wear a perpetual tinfoil hat, but kind of, if that makes sense.
Kind of.
I mean, maybe a black swan or a white swan event could be it.
Could be. OC, you got time for one altcoin. If you could only pick one altcoin to do TA on, what would it be? What's the trade setup for today? Go.
Let's go FARTCOIN. All right. So I was about to do ADA, but why can you do ADA if we can do FARTCOIN? Let's go. Let's fire all over the place. All right. So let's go over FARTCOIN here. It's been playing out very nicely. Something that is important to note is that we're bouncing off the loud order block. We tried to make a comeback, and something it's kind of like important here, right? So we need to be a little bit careful. Let me explain you why. First, let's go for the worst case scenario. We have broken the trend line, right? The trend, it's broken. It's not about the breakout. It's about the retest. Off we go. We should be going lower. Everything is pointing that we should be going lower and that we are about to break the range, right? Keep going lower. That could open up the possibility for a short. But here is the deal. We are just flipping the ribbon now, and we're against the dynamic reactor. So this could very much be a fake out. So what's going to be the trade setup for today? We're going to be looking for this flip of the ribbon. And man, this was just one candle before. I would have called the entry. But at this point, I would say let's wait for the break of that zero line. And we're going to try to long it here to here if you want to scalp it. If you don't want to scalp it, just wait for the break through the zero line. Here is the key factor, guys. If you scalp for a longing here, be careful because we're looking first for a double top, all right, as we reject. But move your stop to entry and hold it, because if we burst to the upside, I think right now, I know we have low volume here, but we could peak all the way here or to this area before we come back down and we continue with this other trend line that we might have, basically creating a range right there. So that would be it. This is, I know it is a little bit of a dangerous one, but this is a high risk reward series. And remember, we have plan A, shorting it, plan B, longing it and holding it to the top, right? So basically scalp long, then head switch to short, and then remember, do not move your stop to entry in case we need to head switch. So there we go. We have FARTCOIN up and running.
Awesome. And Bitcoin has broke that 108,000 and that 786 line. So we'll see what's going on there today. We'll keep an eye on for you guys. Don't forget to tune in to OC Trades Live later on today. And then this evening, Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto. Tune in tomorrow morning for more information on how you can win 50 USDT from the Good Morning Crypto Show with BC Port Corp. If you guys haven't done that yet, go to today's video, go in there and comment. Bitcoin is freedom, giving away that free money. Free money. Love it. Guys, we'll be back at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, bringing you guys a stream of no issues. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm going to fix that. I'm going to figure out what it is. But at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, guys, we'll be back here with the news, the charts, the markets, the headlines, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe. And as always, use some risk management. Peace, love, and profits. We're out of here.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered. We're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the zoo, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have, step fall back to offline. Boom shakalaka! We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low.
Emotional damage.
Get with them. The ZTS rhythm. Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
You can't handle the truth.
That was awesome, dude.